FigJam Web Portal demo. So this will be the backend of the system. So this is cloud-based, hosted by Google servers, so it's available anywhere else in the world as long as you got internet access. So you have a login credentials. Once you've logged in, it will take you to this landing page, which is the dashboard. So on the dashboard, it will show you activity which has happened last week versus this week. It will show you things such as inactive customers. So these are the customers that haven't been visited or no activity has happened for that particular customer. You got an option to filter by particular date range to narrow down the listing. So maybe we could say customers that have not been visited between 20 to 40 days, for example. So you could narrow down to get between that range. Then down here you could see inactive device users. So these are the people who haven't used the system. So maybe you want to see someone who hasn't used the system within 20 working days. You could filter and narrow to that. Then we got maps. So maps will show you where the activity is happening. So every time on a particular task or job in our system, we pick a geotag of whenever someone does a task. So on the maps tab, you got an option to expand the date range. So you could choose a particular period. You could choose a particular rep, a particular store or customer, or a particular task. Could be a photo, an order, a price survey, a check-in, a product survey, visit cancellation, or adding of a store. So this is an example of a customer that was added. This is on the demo by Petros. And this is the name of the store, the date and time, and the location of that particular store. So you'll be able to see where that particular added store is. So the map is just showing you where the jobs have been done. Then the next tab is all jobs. Under all jobs, you could see all particular jobs that have been done. Again, you got a date range filter. So you'll be able to see all those particular jobs done. You can open a particular job. This is an order, for example. You can search for a job type by particular user, particular customer, by particular category. Then under all jobs, it then breaks down to check-in logs. So from the check-in, check-out from the app, so you'll be able to filter the particular check-in, check-out. So this is an example of a check-in for this store, and the person, the check-in time, check-out time, time in store. You can export this to Excel. You can filter by particular user, by particular store. The next is photos. So all the photos that are being captured from the photo tool, you can also view these photos. So again, for the photos, you'll be able to export to PowerPoint or to Excel. So basically all the web portal, this is where you can export some raw data, find some particular data, add device users, create categories, configure certain things. This is where you find your customer listing, products listing. So it's the backend of the system. It's more admin and raw data extraction. So we then do our reporting in a different tool. So I'll move to that, to our business intelligence tool. So this is the tool we use for, it's called Google Looker for our BI. We'll sit down with your team, understand the KPIs. So this is an example of a report, productivity report, showing in terms of visits, how many visits were done, how many photos, the product surveys, custom forms, what's the breakdown per particular task, how many visits were done versus photos versus product surveys versus quick store counts versus orders, custom survey forms. You could filter by particular rep, person. There's a summary breakdown per rep, so it will show the rep, number of surveys done, product surveys, orders, visits, etc. Maybe there's a target to say you're supposed to have a total of 240 tasks. So you could also track that. Then from the check-ins, you could have a user check-in register for like merchandisers who's starting from the field. So we'll be able to see who was on time, who's late, who's up there, who's absent, who's not there. You can check things such as active and inactive users, total number of people registered, who are inactive, who's active, when did they last use the system. So it's just to monitor usage. Then check-in details. You can track things such as visits made versus time spent. So, for example, Pharaoh Shepherd did 74 visits. These are the seconds or minutes. So we could then populate that data for a particular period. We could also show the user activity per outlet, say, all the 20 Takuzwa visited this outlet and this time he did this. Then order details would do things such as your top performing products versus order value. So we could now show the top performing products and the order value. We could show things such as total number of orders, the total value and stuff. We could also show the actual contribution by outlet, value contribution by product. So again, we sit down, design the KPIs. Next page, we could do things such as forward share. We could monitor in the market what's our share of shelf or forward share. So we'll be able to do our facings or forward share and present it on a report like this to show per particular product what's our share. It could be, for example, in the cooler, the home shelf, or in the fridge, or what's facing on the shelves. Average display share, average facing share, average cooler share. We are just averaging that. The actual counts, display counts, self, display counts, competitor, facings counts, faces counts, competitor. So we are then aggregating this to see versus competitor, what's our ratio. Then from there, from the quick store counts, we are able to aggregate that data and show the products out of stock and stores, number of stores they are out of stock. So you could see, for example, Chibuku 1.2.5 is out of stock in 2 shops. Then we can actually show further details, which shops the product is out of stock and the days it's out of stock. Price comparison, so high level will be able to show where we're expensive, where we're cheaper. Price distribution, are we expensive, equal as a business? Average price for competitor or average price, etc. Then this is a sample from the custom form 2. So the reps would fill in a fridge report or technical fault report. Then the repairs guys would come here, see the date, the person who raised it, the shop, type of fridge, the serial number, the fault, what needs to be done, if it's recurring or the status. So they will be able to manage that. So that's one of a sample report. This is another sample sales report. So you could have the productivity looking like this. You could also have a map in the productivity report showing where we have done some coverage in different colors to show different reps. So maybe you want to see different colors for the team. We could have the check-in details again, more or less same concept. Then this is another sample report. These are check-in, check-out, a breakdown of the jobs per user. From the orders, there's a sample report on the orders. So again, we'll design these reports to speak to the business needs. So our reporting is very flexible. So that is all from my end. Thank you.